The Simpsons has been on air for 32 years, and having recently been renewed for at least 2 more, an end to the show doesn't appear to be on the horizon anytime soon. Because the show has been on air for so long, and has surpassed so many milestones that perhaps felt like a good time for a natural end to the show, it's easy to forget that The Simpsons will have to end sometime.
Well, I'm opposed to the whole thing. Damn opposed!
So when that day finally comes, how does a show like The Simpsons, that's been on the air for so long and made such a lasting impact on popular culture, how does it possibly go about that seemingly impossible task of delivering the perfect series finale? It's a task that's made all the more difficult by the fact that The Simpsons has already, throughout the course of its long run, delivered a number of episodes that probably could have been considered a good way to end the show. There are 2 episodes in particular that would have possibly provided a satisfying end to the show at the time they aired. The first of these was Behind the Laughter, which aired as the final episode of season 11. A parody of the VH1 biography series Behind the Music, the episode takes the form of a documentary, providing a behind-the-scenes look at the making of the show, portraying The Simpsons as a real-life family who played a fictional version of themselves on TV.
Homer kept saying he could do a more realistic family show. Finally, I said, so do it. Either or get off the pot.
The episode received positive reviews, even winning an Emmy for Outstanding Animated Programme, and it stands out as the best episode of season 11, a season where the decline in the show's quality from its golden age was definitely in full flow. Often cited as having been an ideal way for the show to finish, I think this is probably due to the timing of the episode's airing as much as anything else, with the show now officially out of its golden era. The premise of the episode allows the writers to poke fun at themselves, referring to the show becoming reliant on the appearance of guest stars and using nonsensical plots. These were both things that the show had been accused of in recent seasons as its quality began to decline. Had The Simpsons finished here, with this as its series finale, I definitely think it could have worked as a sort of satirical retrospective of the show's run.
This'll be the last season.
Fast forward 12 years and the next time The Simpsons produced an episode worthy of a series finale was with the season 23 episode Holidays of Future Past. In early 2011, the future of the show was in doubt when a contractual dispute developed between the main cast of the show and Fox Television. As negotiations between the network and the primary cast members dragged on, the show's uncertain future led to creators developing an episode that could be used as a series finale. That episode would be Holidays of Future Past, a Christmas-themed episode which jumps forward 30 years into The Simpsons' future. However, as 2011 progressed, a compromise would eventually be reached between Fox and the show's main cast, with each cast member taking a 45% pay cut in exchange for a small share of the show's profits, meaning The Simpsons would continue. So with the show not ending anytime soon, what now to do with this potential series finale? Well, the creators decided to go ahead and air the episode as part of season 23, airing on December 11th, 2011. And the episode immediately stands out as the best of the season, if not one of the best of the show's modern era. It begins with the family finishing Thanksgiving dinner and reluctantly posing for a Christmas photo, before jumping 30 years into the future, where we find that Bart's a divorced father to 2 10-year-old boys, Lisa's married to Milhouse and has a teenage daughter, and Maggie's the lead singer of a successful rock band and heavily pregnant with her first child. The episode focuses on Bart and Lisa's respective struggles raising their kids, while also dealing with their relationship with their own parents. As Bart struggles to connect with his sons, he also grows frustrated at how great a grandfather Homer is to the boys, when he was, in Bart's words, such a lousy dad. At the same time, Lisa feels disconnected from her daughter Zia, who spends her time lost in the ultranet and avoids face-to-face conversations with her mum, while ironically failing to see the similarities in her relationship with Marge. There's a really sweet scene where a slightly drunk Bart and Lisa confide in each other around the difficulties of parenting, reminiscent of some of the best scenes in the show's history, where the rival siblings let down their guard and show true moments of affection. Lisa eventually goes into the ultranet and discovers that when Zia logs on to escape the real world, she goes to a place similar to her bedroom, where the walls are covered in pictures of inspirational women, including Lisa. Meanwhile, Bart finally manages to connect with his sons and explain how important they are in his life, despite his shortcomings as a dad. And seeing this inspires Homer to make peace with his own dad. Had this been the show's series finale, I think it really would have felt like a satisfying conclusion to the show. The Simpsons was, at its heart, a story about an average family and the dynamics of the relationships between each of those family members. And Holidays of Future Past focused on those family dynamics, covering 4 generations of the Simpson family. By setting the episode in the future, the writers managed to adhere to that golden rule of a series finale, by giving the audience an idea of what life holds in store for the Simpson family. The final scene even works as a bookend to the show's first ever episode, Simpsons roasting on an open fire, as the family pose for a Christmas photo. I guess the only problem with this episode is that it wasn't the series finale. Not only did it air as just another regular episode, it also produced an inferior sequel episode a few years later. And so, having aired at least 2 potentially satisfying series finales already, it begs the question, how will the Simpsons creators actually decide to end the show when that day comes? When asked about how he thinks the show will end, showrunner Al Jean said, "Whenever we do a last episode, we just hope that it would be sweet, true to the characters, funny, and give you a nice feeling for where the Simpsons would be headed." Now that could be used as a pretty good description of Holidays of Future Past. So when it comes to the actual end of the show, how could the writers go about repeating this feat without just repeating the same episode? One popular theory is that perhaps rather than having a single episode as the series finale, the conclusion to the Simpsons story could be stretched over an entire season. For the past number of years, South Park has switched format from being an episodic show to a serialized format where storylines carry through from one episode to the next. The reception to the show's change in format has been mixed, but perhaps if The Simpsons were to adopt this approach for just its final season, it would allow the show's creators to not only address the conclusion of the story of the Simpson family, but also to give closure to some of the long-running character arcs of the other residents of Springfield. It might also allow the writers to do something they haven't done in 32 years of the show's run, to allow the Simpson family to age. One of the best elements of Holidays of Future Past was how it gave the audience an idea of how the future looked for the Simpson family, a key ingredient to any final episode. But maybe rather than jumping forward to the Simpsons' future, the audience could watch the Simpson family grow older with each episode, until perhaps reaching a point in time similar to the one at the conclusion of Holidays of Future Past. It would be experimental, and certainly wouldn't be popular with everyone, but I do think most of the better episodes from The Simpsons' modern era have been episodes that featured experimental premises. Another possible way to end the show could be for The Simpsons series finale to take place on the big screen. Ever since the release of The Simpsons movie in 2007, there's always been speculation about a possible sequel. Many critics of modern day Simpsons argue that the sole reason the show is still on the air after so many years is that it's so profitable. And so, considering the first Simpsons movie made a profit of over $500 million at the box office, it might not be surprising to see the show hit the big screen one more time for that final big payoff. On a less cynical note, having the show finished this way could result in a superior movie to the original. It always amazed me that the show's creators managed to spend the best part of 4 years producing a movie, while at the same time continuing to produce over 20 episodes per year. It must have spread resources incredibly thin. However, if a second movie were to come at the end of the show's run, with no episodes being produced simultaneously and all energy being channeled into the movie, it could potentially make for a really great send-off, perhaps even reminiscent of some of the show's golden years. I guess one thing that's for certain about the Simpsons series finale is that whatever way the creators decide to finish the show, it's not going to satisfy everyone. Everybody has a different idea of what an appropriate way for the show to end would be. However, I think as long as a series finale, in whatever form it takes, were to stick to the principles of what Al Jean alluded to be true to the characters, funny, and give a sense of where the Simpsons family were headed, then it won't go too far wrong. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments section how you think The Simpsons should finish.